Earlier this week, Mayor Garcia traveled to Sacramento to talk with state legislators about homelessness. 2 weeks ago, I reported that without a true plan, the county and city cleaned up a large encampment along the 710 freeway. But it was more like a redistribution of homelessness rather than a real solution. We reported that, like a deck of cards, the homeless were just being shuffled from one part of town to another. So the tourists coming to Long Beach for the Acura Grand Prix don't get an accurate view of what Long Beach really looks like. While this may be a solution for tourists, it's no solution for the residents like you and me that live and pay taxes in the city. A locally renowned homelessness advocate said that without services, the unhoused would shift to the other side of the river and to the east side. We're literally seeing the reality of the advocate's prediction, and I took you in today. Here's a growing encampment on the east side of Long Beach at the freeway ramp entrance of Bellflower Boulevard and Willow. The unhoused here have pitched tents for shelter. Next to a couple of bicycles, there's an end table that serves as an hydration station. A casual seating area is in the center of the encampment, and their pet kittens frolic about while one resident browses their smartphone under the tree's shade. Still, these unhoused residents know that they're not welcome, and told me off camera that because of negative comments on Nextdoor, they were going to have to move again before Caltrans came. What I saw today was somber. My home is only blocks away from this encampment. Growing up here, I rarely saw a homeless person, but for my school-age daughter, it's commonplace. In this part of Long Beach, we've been able to pretend for years that there wasn't a homelessness crisis brewing in the city. Why not? It wasn't something that was directly impacting our tree-lined neighborhoods. Now that's changed, and the crisis has come to our front door. And while a lot of residents turn to Nextdoor to rally their voices and influence our elected officials to do something, we aren't the only ones on Nextdoor reading the comments. What I learned today is that just like your Nextdoor neighbor, the unhoused are reading and listening to our words on the Nextdoor app as well. They're just doing it from their makeshift living rooms at the freeway overpass. But it's not only the homelessness crisis that's moving east. If you haven't been paying attention, the same thing is happening with shootings, gangs, and gun violence. I know because I report on them live. With every passing month, more of the shootings are occurring near the east side, even a triple shooting in the busiest tourist district of Long Beach during broad daylight. A side of town where we used to be able to say that things like this just don't happen. Speaking of public safety, the encampments also create a serious risk of fire, endangering drivers, local homes, and the lives of our unhoused residents. But here's the fact. Based on promises from the mayor, city council members, and even school board members, we passed the Measure A sales tax hike to address all three of these issues: homelessness, public safety, infrastructure. The mistake we may have made is not reading the fine print of the tax hike. The many millions of dollars over the last 6 years that have raised our cost of living, they weren't specifically allocated or earmarked for homelessness or public safety or fire service. Instead, the money went into the general fund where the mayor sets the agenda, and at least 5 city council members can vote to spend the hundreds of millions of dollars at their discretion. Now, because of COVID-19 dollars from the federal government, the city has made a new promise to spend $12 million to address homelessness. Well, that's another promise, but will the millions of dollars actually go to homelessness? Did our local tax dollars go to homelessness or public safety with Measure A? Well, these are the questions for you to decide, the voters. Most of city council, including the mayor, are up for re-election in the upcoming year. This is Franklin, reporting for families, friends, and neighbors in Long Beach. And for the best news in Long Beach, please follow me on Long Beach News Today at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.